There's a famous poem by Robert Frost called Fire and Ice. It goes like this: "Some say the world will end in fire, and some say in ice. From what I've tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire. But if it had to perish twice, I think I know enough of hate to say that for destruction ice is also great and will suffice." I think of this poem often when I consider the role of courage in team performance. People need courage in order to step up and be more committed and to give their best to the work at hand. But when fear gets a hold of your team, everything stops moving. That might be a surprise. It's tempting to think that when fear gets the grip on your team, people get agitated and angry, and you'd notice it right away. But in reality, chronic fear doesn't detonate or tear a team apart. It debilitates it and calcifies it, cripples it until it just simply stops moving altogether. For that reason, you need to keep your eye out for the effects of fear on your team. Here are 3 telltale signs that fear is active in your team. First is you'll see innovation slow down or cease. This makes good sense, right? Because when people are afraid, it's hard for them to take the risks that are required in innovation. It's hard to step out and put themselves in a position of being vulnerable and going in new directions if they're worried that those directions might be wrong. When people are worried about making a wrong step or a bad choice, more than they're worried about doing something extraordinary, they stop making choices and stop taking those steps, and you see innovation cease. The second telltale sign that fear might be active in your team is you'll see diminished joy among the people in your team. This is just an attitude thing. I mean, look around in your team. Look how people are behaving with one another. See how they approach the work. Is there joy? Is that sort of the telltale sign of the people on your team? Is that the signature of your work? If not, the real problem might be that they're afraid and that there's fear alive in your team. And the third telltale sign is a diminished pride in the work. Look around. People may be working hard. They may be doing all the things that they're supposed to, but are they walking tall? Do they look like they're proud of what they're doing and their contribution? Are they proud of the mission that you're trying to achieve? Take a close look at that, because if you see that the pride in the work is lacking, it may be that fear is present in your team. So those are the 3 telltale signs to look for. If you see any of these things happening in your team, look a little closer. It may not be stronger management or higher motivation that your team needs. It may be a new dose of courage.